Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Julia and today I'm going to show you how I organize my entire life using one app. That one app is called Notion. Wow. I've been using it for 3 years now. If you saw just how chaotic my day-to-day life is, you would understand why I needed something like Notion to pull it all together. If you would like to follow along with me on this video, I highly encourage it. I have free templates and I know that aesthetics can be controversial. Aesthetics can make us vulnerable, and for that reason I made a couple of different color options, including beautiful beige, beautiful blue, gracious green, promiscuous pink, I'm really running out of adjectives here, and dark mode because I couldn't think of anything else. Color options galore. You can find them all at my website, which is linked down below, because I studied marketing in college. What do you expect me to do? Not have a website? It's super easy. The instructions are on there. These templates are an exact copy of what I use in my personal day-to-day life too, and so I wanted to share them with you in today's video. Let's hop into it. First of all, I have the beige Notion template here. It has a little invite note from me at the top. You're gonna see also this little house icon. Basically, this just means that you're on the home page whenever you see that. There's a little quote at the top because I think everyone loves having motivation. This quote from Oscar Wilde is one of my favorites. I think it really showcases how well read I am. Yeah, I think it does a really good job of that. There's also this button here is going to let you download the header image without my personal branding on it, because I understand that there aren't a lot of people on the planet named Julia Wezio. But yeah, you can just click that. It'll show up on this handy website, and you can just replace the header image by going up here, change cover, you're gonna upload, choose the image from your computer, and voila, it's literally the easiest thing on planet Earth. The first really useful stuff that you're gonna see when you come to the page are these 4 different to-do list categories. There's a work list, a school list, a personal one, and then a later list, which honestly is just my procrastination bucket. Under each of these tasks, you can basically make little check boxes, everything that you need to get done. And the reason that we organize them like this is because it's gonna help you organize throughout the week. Let's make a sample task. I'm gonna add it under school and I'm gonna say midterm, right? I misspelled that. You're gonna hit the little @ sign and you can actually add a date for when you would like to make that task due. So I'm gonna say remind tomorrow at 9 a.m. because it's default. You can even click the text in blue and then turn on notifications, but all you're gonna do is click remind and basically pick from any plethora of options. I'm gonna make some other fake tasks up this week. I'm gonna say take my cat to the dentist. For work, I'm gonna say get a promotion. Also, you'll see under the later bucket that you can add subtasks. So if something is a little bit bigger, it's gonna take you a little bit more time to do, you can create little check boxes by just clicking at the end of the task, hit return, and it'll automatically make a little sub bubble for you. Then what you're gonna do is click and drag these under the day of the week in which you would like to get them done. So we'll say my midterm review needs to get done. Let's say today is Monday. That's gonna go under my Monday to-do list. Then for personal, I'm gonna try to get my promotion by Wednesday because we all know I deserve it. And voila, there you go. You can build a whole week ahead calendar and schedule. It's super easy to do. However, a to-do list is not useful if you're not actually checking things off of it. So what you're gonna do, get a task done, like let's say this midterm review, you're gonna check it off and you're going to drag it into this little bucket called archive. This is gonna hide it in a folder where you can go back and you'll see all of the other tasks that you've already completed. And it's nice if you have something that is a repeating task, you don't have to like recreate it every single week or so. You can just pull it right out of your archive and it's amazing. However, the most important part of this video are the actual subpages. So let's go into the school one. You're gonna see this list of assignments, which is actually filtering out of these little class boxes. Again, if you're not taking 5 classes, you're not a slacker. All you have to do is delete whichever one of these boxes you don't need. You can rename the classes, which I'll show you in a second. Click the 3 little dots, duplicate, and add more classes if you're one of those overachieving students. I can't relate. great. I don't think I ever did more than 6 classes in a semester, so if you're on track with that, I'm impressed. So under assignments, you're gonna hit new. These classes you can just rename, click the 3 little dots. Let's say class 1 is biology. I didn't know we spelled biology like that. So I'm gonna make an assignment for biology, midterm review, because why not? I'm gonna pick April 1st because it's a joke to think that I would actually study for biology. I would probably just cry. And you're gonna pick what type of assignment it is. So I'm gonna pick review, which happens to be green. And if you scroll over, you can actually upload supporting files and documents. I know, so sophisticated. The cool thing is, since we assigned class 1 to biology, when we go to class 1, we're obviously gonna have to rename it. So you can put in how many credits the class is worth, the professor, the TA. I had a little bit too much fun in this section, so I guess an Easter egg to call out is that they're all named after Stranger Things characters. Tacky, I know, I just got finished rewatching the show for like the 7th time. You can also add the time, the Zoom link, contacts if you need your professor's email, your TA's email. If you scroll down, my favorite part of all this, and the reason I used this so much when I was in school, was because you could store all of your lecture notes in this single page thingamajig. I love it. If I open these, you'll see that I use usually header 3 for any major topics, bullet points for any subtopics. I use the little call out feature to put in important questions from the lecture, and you can also add these things called web bookmarks for any kind of websites, important resources, things like that that your professor calls out during lecture. Now you're gonna go down to assignments, and what you might need to do is you're gonna go to these 3 little dots, add a filter, and you're gonna filter it by where the class contains biology or whatever class you're setting it up for. And it's going to actually just show you the assignments that are due for that specific class. So fun fact is you can actually put in the grade as well. So it'll calculate a little average. Personally, my college professors were terrible about giving us our grades back, so if you're in that boat, I completely understand. This is where you can put your grades if you hypothetically receive them from your professors. And then you're gonna go down to resources, and you can put stuff like office hours, links to important pages. Maybe you guys use something like Canvas, Blackboard. Navigating back to the main page, you're gonna also have sections for your clubs or internships that you're doing. I put DECA because this was a business org that I was in college, and if that isn't reflected in my type A personality, I honestly don't know what is, but you can obviously filter by what part of the organization is responsible, what day it's due, and whether it's completed or not. However, I realize that a list format is not the best thing for everyone, so what you can do, and you can do this on any table on Notion, by the way, is you're gonna hit add a view, you're gonna go to calendar, and it is going to basically turn all of your notes, your little list items, into a calendar for you. You don't even have to do anything. It is so easy to use. If you're watching this video, you're probably the type of person that's always hauling the work for everyone else in group projects, and I completely sympathize with you. Again, another section for important links. You got some lo-fi beats. You can switch these out if you want. 3 dots, just replace the link with whatever you like in YouTube. The next section is the calendar section, which we already kind of went into, but you're gonna have the date, the tags if you want to categorize by what type of task you have to do that day, and then the address if you're physically going somewhere, or if you're not really going many places, you can click on address, go to property type, and switch it to URL, and that way you can have Zoom links. Thank me later. The next one is the budget tracker. We can get into my spending habits in another video, but you're gonna hit new, you're gonna put the date that the transaction happened. We'll say it's in the future because God knows I will spend money. The month, the item name, we're gonna say Target because that's where I'm most likely to spend my money anyway. I'm gonna say I spent $15 on groceries. This is the most unrealistic scenario ever. I apologize in advance. You can put a picture of the receipt if you'd like to. I forgot to mention that Notion is available on mobile as well, which would make this feature a lot more helpful to you most likely. And then you can obviously put what your budget is for that category, which I find incredibly helpful. This title column is more for you to make any notes about the transaction. I will say that I bought gobstoppers because that seems like something I would do if I was going through a crisis. Yes, I would. I've purchased gobstoppers before, and then I remembered that I have retainers, like permanent retainers on my top and bottom teeth, so that's not a good idea either. The next one is the habit and mood tracker. This is basically an improved version of the Notion one. I hated the one that came by default. It just was not for me. For title, you're gonna put in the day of the week, and you can add as many of these columns for what you want to track. Personally, I like to track my exercise, whether I sleep 7 hours a night, whether I journaled that day, which I do digitally now. I just add it in as my comments for the day, whether I responded to my emails that day. I have a little filter for managing my mood. So today's actually been a pretty awesome day, so I'm gonna say it was awesome. You can actually see how much time you spent on social media based on your mood, based on the day of the week. If you go to filter on Notion, you can filter by anything. Like if you want to filter by title contains Monday, you know, that's going to show you all of your results for Monday. If you click add filter exercise, it's going to show you all of the days that you met your exercise goal. It's really simple stuff like that that just makes it so intuitive to use. Moving on is the time blocking format, and this I really like. If I have really busy days and I just know that I'm not going to be productive on my own, I will use time blocking as a strategy to divide my day into 30-minute chunks, and that way as I get things done, I can move things around, I see if it actually took me 30 minutes to get something done, and it's just a really good mechanism for keeping me on track. Normally I would get up at like 7:30, fill this whole thing out with most of what I need to get done during the day, and just have it open as a little tab on the side, progressing through the hours of the day essentially. The next one is my workflow doc, which I personally use this for my YouTube content. I have it adjusted so each one of these buckets is something like scripting or filming or making a thumbnail, but I kept it pretty generic so that you could use it as an additional to-do list. Maybe it's a to-do list for your hobby, maybe it's a to-do list for your small business. Again, all you'd have to do is type in the name of your task. I'm gonna be super creative here and give a really realistic example of what I would do in a normal day. And then as that task begins to unravel, I'm gonna just move it down the workflow. And when we return back, I do have this little one called social media captions. I usually will have a bucket list of post ideas and then video ideas. I gotta say, I use toggles a lot for breaking down what things I want to cover in that video, and this kind of gives me a start for scripting. There's a place for hashtags, which you can filter by size, by category, whether you tested them or not, and then you can add extra columns if you want to have like notes or feedback on what worked. And then photo inspo, you can put things like poses, colors that inspire you, or whatever things you would like to categorize basically on your page. And if there aren't enough for you and you need more, all you have to do is click that little grippy thing on the side, duplicate it, and you can rename everything on there to your heart's content. Also, if this is a little narrow for you, you can also go to the 3 dots at the top. Oh, I've said 3 dots so many times in this video. And you can click full width. And if you turn that on, it's going to basically use up the full size of your screen. The next one is your grocery list. If you want to go nuts on this, you can. Typically, the only 3 things I buy at the grocery store are coffee creamer, stevia, and eggs, because those 3 things make up most of my diet right now, and it's an unfortunate reality that only I need to cope with. The next one is the notepad, where you can also just brainstorm to your heart's content. Toggles are going to be your best friend on this one as well, because you can break your content into different categories. And let's say that I like the more horizontal layout, what I can do is backslash, type in toggle list, and I'm going to use the little grippy, drag my cursor all the way over to the side until this little blue vertical line shows up. It's going to put the 2 items side by side, which makes it really easy for organization. All right, you guys, so if you use Notion or you're planning on using it, comment down below what Notion boards you use. I am so curious to see, because I feel like it's just the best tool out there right now for productivity. And if you enjoyed this video as well, I encourage you to subscribe. I post every Wednesday. If you'd like to support me in this fun channel venture that we're on together, press that button, turn on the bell notification, and I will see your lovely face in my next video. Bye-bye!